Hi, welcome again to another edition of the podcast, the Smart Office Podcast. We have a special guest today, 𝗕𝗂𝗏, CEO and founder of Maple. We're going to talk a little bit about him, about his background, and talk a lot more is going to focus on Maple. We're going to talk about a lot about AI and what they are doing. I mean, the Smart Office Podcast is more focused on how AI is transforming the job market, how people are using AI today to achieve day-to-day activities to do anything they want to do, just down to earth daily. So we want to make sure AI is coming down to earth to everybody. So today we have 𝗕𝗂𝗏. It's a very special guest for us today. Thank you very much, Kevin, for coming. It's really a special. We want to appreciate your time, taking some time off your busy schedule to be with us to talk about all these changes that's been happening over the last couple of years. So welcome on board. So how are you doing today? How is everything?
Hey, doing good. Thanks for having me. Appreciate you having me on.
Yeah. So let's start. Where about are you based? Where are you located?
I am just outside Washington D.C. I am actually in Maryland. Our office for Maybell is in Northern Virginia. Most of our team is in the Northern Virginia area, but we do have members of our team scattered about the United States.
Wow, that's good. So I was looking through your profile, your LinkedIn profile, your website. That's been a lot. I mean, that's a wealth of experience. How did you come about getting into the world of AI and maybe doing a startup? And how long has Maple been existing?
So that's a good question. Mabel itself has been around for a year and a half. Actually, the idea of my co-founder who convinced me to jump out of the Cushing enterprise world and back
Yeah.
into the startup life, so to speak. It's been a long run. I've been in the industry a long time. I've enjoyed tech since I was a kid.
Right.
I was engineer, developer and engineer by trade very early on in my career. Then eventually started branching into the business side of things as well. And machine learning and AI has always been a part of kind of the next generation of where we were going anyway. Machine learning has been around for a long time. And even in my previous startup, the previous startup I was a part of, we used machine learning quite extensively to analyze data and to figure out trends and anomalies and trajectories on certain things. So machine learning leading into what we all see as LLMs and AI
Right.
today, LLMs
Right.
are actually a much smaller part of that much bigger practice, right? What's changed though is the accessibility, right? So
Right. Right.
before, if you wanted to get into machine learning, you had to be in data science, you had to know what you were doing, you had to know what
Exactly.
Python and pandas, for a couple examples, things like that. You
Right.
really had to dive in and technically know what you were doing to get in machine learning. Now it's an API, right?
Right.
OpenAI came out and made it a prompt
Right.
box, text box that you can just throw data into. And that's changed the game on how people see AI, what we can do with AI, and the use of AI because it's open for everybody now, not just technical people.
Exactly. Yeah, that's why we started this podcast, because we kind of realized a lot of people, machine learning or AI is no longer top tier or some kind of, maybe it's stuck in the lab. It's now everyday person probably trying to navigate AI systems and things like that. But given your background, how has this contributed to you coming up and working with probably Maple? I think it's Maple, if I'm right.
So we started Maybell because we see a gap in the industry
Right.
where product and engineering teams are still going to be building AI solutions for their organizations.
Right.
So traditionally with machine learning directed towards data scientists, ChatGPT directs towards people who don't have technical experience.
Exactly. Yeah.
But there's this big middle ground that we believe is not going away in the near future or even in the foreseeable future, where organizations are going to use not only LLMs, but other AI tools
Right.
to make their organizations better, to process information faster, to automate things in a way that they would not have been able to automate before. Think about industries that move unstructured documentation all over the
Right.
place,
Right.
right? So think about the construction industry or the finance industry, the loan industry, industries where paper and process is still a huge part of these industries.
Exactly.
Industries that have had some form of automation along the way,
Right.
but the industry itself is not built upon structured data and structured way to move information between people. AI unlocks a huge power. So some of our customers in the government space and the construction space or the industrial space, their industries can now continue to operate with this unstructured data moving all over the place, but now they can use AI to automate in ways they haven't been able to previously do. Previously, they would have had to change out an entire technology stack. And
Right.
even if they changed out their technology stack, the people they do business with aren't changing out their technology stack.
Exactly.
So you're updating, but your industry is not updating. So how
Updating.
efficient can you actually be? AI now allows these huge industries, which maybe operate in what we would consider an old school way in the tech
Hmm.
space, but allows them to now modernize and automate in ways that they haven't been able to do before, whether it's pulling information, doing entity extraction and classification over documents, or creating new material for their customers or interacting with their customers in a way they've never been able to interact with. AI provides a lot of capabilities that are built by product and engineering teams that are internal to these organizations so that their IP remains their IP. And that's really where Maybell shines. We are a platform to allow product and engineering teams to build bespoke solutions for your organization that are based on AI.
Wow, that's quite intense. Let's break it down. Let's bring it down a little bit to the layman's level now, so that people who are not tech, or people who are somewhere middle ground tech, not
Yep.
too techy, not zero tech, but somewhere in the middle there to say, maybe I need this product, maybe I need Maple. What can you say? Probably, who are your clientele? Who are your clientele? Who the service? Who do you provide service to?
Right. So we do, I mean, Maybell specifically, we gear towards product and engineering teams. I would say if you are at a business and you're looking to move your business forward in some way, shape, or form, there is a process that you want to make more efficient. There is a product idea you've had in your head for a long time and you haven't been able to get your product and engineering team to deliver on that solution. That Maybell can help that product and engineering team in your organization deliver on the ideas that are coming to your head. Our platform itself isn't really designed for somebody who doesn't know anything about AI, just coming in and using the box like a ChatGPT. But we do work with business leaders in an organization along with the product and engineering team to deliver on solutions that the business side of the house needs. So if you're thinking of a new product or thinking of a new way to utilize the information in your organization, we can help you work with your product and engineering team to make that happen.
Wow, that's cool. Let's talk about a little bit about how AI, given your experience, you've been in the industry for quite a while. You've had this startup. It's been probably a year and a half from what you're saying about Maple. How has it been like that transformation, given the fast transformation of AI and new LLMs coming up? How do you adapt to the industry and to the
Yeah.
change?
I think it's a good question. You gotta love the first off, you just gotta love working in startups, right? You
Right,
gotta love building from 0 to 1. It's a adventure in and of itself to
right,
get in and take an idea and start turning that into a product that is
right.
sellable and getting out to customers. And then combine that with how fast the AI space is moving right now.
Hmm.
Every 6 months we have new additions. We have new things that everybody think is going to be the say all end all to
Right.
how we're going to put AI together and how we're going to work. I think what you have to look at is, the old 80/20 rule still
Right.
holds true today, right?
Yeah.
20% of the work to get 80% of the way down the runway, 80% of the work to get the last 20%. That holds true with a lot of things. There are a lot of fascinating things that have happened very, very quickly with AI over the past few years. In my opinion, AGI is not right around the corner. Is it in
Right.
our future someday?
Right.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of building blocks that need to happen, including more advanced power sources and things like that that need to happen before we get to AGI. But there's a long path of how do I implement AI to make my business better today
Better.
than it was yesterday.
Right.
And I think there's a lot of applications
Right.
that we can help businesses adapt now.
Right.
And if you really, really focus on how do I help a business today,
Right.
better tomorrow, be better today than they were yesterday. I think you can cancel out some of the, I don't really want to call it noise, but some of it is marketing about how fast this stuff is working as
Right.
opposed to reality. That's not, you know, the AI is not the first technology that's happened with, right? Like
Exactly.
all
Yeah.
technologies, even when we moved from data centers to cloud, right? In
Exactly.
the first year of that, everyone's like, well, everybody will be in the cloud 3 years from now. I don't know.
Exactly.
Well, it's 20 years later and not
And then
everybody's in the cloud,
not
right?
everybody's in the cloud for sure.
AI is moving fast. It's probably moving faster than most technologies that we've experienced in any of our lifetimes, or maybe in the existence of human race. But it's still going to take a while before it's just this natural thing that everybody's doing. So I think some of it's noise, a lot of it's reality. I think you try and filter out the noise and
Right.
focus on what's real today and what helps businesses move forward today. And we focus on that, and that helps us stay guided in building our product and helping our customers.
Wow, that's interesting. But let me ask you about the adoption in the industry. How has it been adopted? How has it been embraced? Given your experience, your long history in the tech world, compared to the other technologies, how has AI been adopted or accepted or embraced in the industry? How is it going so far?
AI is being adopted at an amazing rate.
Right.
And the reason it's being adopted at an amazing rate is it is applicable to everybody within a business or everybody who's using it for personal reasons.
Right.
There are so many different applications of AI. You have buckets of AI that just help a person be more efficient during a day.
Right.
There are parts of AI where if you're a technical person and you're a builder, you can build AI applications. There are areas of AI where you can build the models and do fine tuning and training and things
Right.
like this. AI is literally all encompassing. So other technologies really kind of pinpointed on maybe certain people who do certain jobs.
Right.
The difference is AI has such a wide adoption because it's applicable to many different verticals and many different use cases, right? So I think the adoption of AI has been enormous. I think the practical use of AI, as you see these percentages where it's like X amount of percent of projects fail or people
Right.
stop
Right.
moving and things like that. I think that's because of how wide of an adoption curve AI actually has.
I
And
see.
of course, when any new technology comes out, there's going to be the hype versus the reality.
Right.
However, I do think the reality of AI is here to stay with us. It will eventually be embedded in most things that you interact with in life, whether it's going to a web page or going to a store or driving your car. AI is going to be there.
Right.
I do think we need to work out where it's going to work best today versus where it works best tomorrow.
Right. Wow. I was just reading an article today on Mercedes. They were coming out with an EV and they were saying it's AI powered. So I was reading a little bit deeper to find out, oh, okay, how do you AI power this EV? And they were like, okay, it has to adopt, it has to probably learn, probably it has to be customized to the individual and probably learn that maybe train based on who owns the car and then factor in those things. But let's talk about the adoption. And some people are skeptical about guardrails. Are they the guardrails? Are they, some people equally, there's a fear factor about maybe the job market or maybe adopting it to their detriment. And there's been so many questions around this. How do you see how this is moving forward? Like people, some of them are very fearful of the technology. Some of them, even governments have been like, we have to limit this. And some workplaces actually are working on limiting the adoption. They said, and others are doing a little bit. I've seen companies embrace it, like embrace it, encourage their workers, but others are like, like guardrails. We can't go far. We don't know where our data is going to. If you're putting
Right.
our data into these LLMs, we don't know who is going to use this data. So how does that work? Like, how do you see the industry
Yep.
adjusting?
I think you see people in all spectrums. And I think when new technology comes out like AI, you always have people who are skeptical, and the skeptics are important. It keeps technology honest.
Right.
You have some technologies that when they come out, even the biggest skeptics are going to be, I don't want to say wrong, but they're going to have to buy in over time, right? AI It doesn't get everything right now.
Right.
It's not good for every application. But just because it's not good for some things doesn't mean it's not good. And I think you pair this up with other technologies in the past, even with like the birth of computers, or
Exactly.
like what I mentioned before with cloud computing and things like this, the internet.
Right.
When the internet came out, there were naysayers. Why do you need the internet? I get a newspaper delivered to my house every day with the news. Why do I need to log on to this funny computer and go get it?
Right? Who is managing this data? Who owns this? Where is this coming from?
Yeah, and all the same questions. So I think those are good questions. I think the gut instinct should not be to reject this technology. I think if you completely reject AI, you will be behind the curve at some point in time, and it will take you longer to catch up than other people around you and other competitors. Just as people who swore off the internet or swore off cloud, right, they are behind, right? They are eventually behind and they need to catch up. With AI, I'm not saying you just jump in and do everything AI in your life, but you should find ways for you or your organization to use AI so you're at least comfortable with how it works and what it does. And if you don't start building that comfort level with this technology, you will be behind the curve. You will be. If you're not already behind the curve, you will be behind the curve. Depending on your industry, I'm not going to say take all your data and give it to AI. I don't think that's a good idea.
Yeah.
But do some research and figure out, how do I get myself, my employees, my organization, how do I get them comfortable using AI in certain ways so that we're not hit by, blindsided by the truck when it does move over into a point where you can use it in the rest of your organization. And now you're playing catch up because no one in your organization is comfortable with the technology, because it will come. Like, it's only going to get better. We're going to add more guardrails. We're going to do more things. At Mayville, we help customers with this. We keep their data isolated. We can run on LLMs that are isolated to their cloud. We make sure data doesn't get pushed to vendors, to LLM vendors, when it doesn't need to be pushed to vendors. So we help companies. Our platform will actually isolate data and different things like that for you today. So there are steps you can take to start using this technology today without worrying about your data just going out into the ether.
Wow, that's great. I mean, it's easy for you to conceptualize it because you are probably a CEO who is techie in the background and things like that. But so many CEOs out there who are probably non-tech and probably sales or marketing people, and they have some skeptical. What advice would you give to them? Like, they are decision makers.
Yeah? Start using it during your day, during your personal day. Don't use it for work.
Right.
Use it for something that's not critical to your personal life. Yeah. Have it plan a vacation for you.
Right.
Ask some questions to it that you would normally throw to Google, throw to AI. Right. And we're already getting the AI snippets, out of Google and things like that. But start feeling comfortable, start using it, and start seeing if you can make it better or make it work for you. Right.
Right.
Like, even that is going to help you understand how AI works a little bit better than diving in for your business, at least if you expose yourself in some way to the technology. So I would say, if you're super skeptical, you're super non-technical, you don't get it, you're very concerned about what it could mean for your business, make an account for personal use that you just send, you ask certain questions of it and interact with AI in a way that's safe to you. Even if it's not for your business, it'll help you understand how the technology works going forward for when that time comes.
Yeah, for sure. There's usually pressure coming from maybe workers within the industry or within a company. They want to adopt, right? It usually happens like that. And then probably at the top, they're trying to stop them or prevent them, because everybody's like, I want to get around this. I want to be smart about this. And probably these people want to use it maybe to help them accomplish their tasks faster, to help them accomplish their job faster. Something. How does that work? Like, let's say within Mayville, do you encourage people to? There are things that, for example, for us, like we're in the tech world, we use Cursor, we use GitHub Copilot for us to be able to accomplish coding faster, to be able to do tasks faster. How does that work? What do you think about that?
We at Mayville, of course, we're not only building a runtime platform for our customers to be able to build products on, but we also are users of AI.
Right. Okay.
We use AI to code. We use AI to write material or do research. We
Right.
use it in a responsible way. We're very, very aware of the data that we're feeding it and what
Right.
we're asking it to do. But an example is from a development perspective.
Right.
What we do now is we write documentation about what we would like to do.
Yeah.
We feed the documentation to help us write test cases, to help us write code, to help us get to production. And AI can really force your engineering team to kind of write documentation first and get code afterwards,
Right.
as opposed to the other way we used to do things, which write a bunch of code and then
figure.
bang the developer's head nonstop. Where's the documentation? How does this work?
Right.
AI forces you to kind of reverse that because
Right.
AI won't write good code for you unless you have documentation about
right prompt.
what the architecture is, what you want to do, what are the test cases, what is the outcome. If you feed all these things to a Copilot developer,
Right.
it's going to work a lot better for your development team. So it's really forced us to think in a different way about how we develop and how we program. But I think it's made us better, right? It's made us better. It helps us write better code. It helps us think about a problem more thoroughly before jumping into the coding aspects of what we do.
Wow, that's quite interesting. I mean, that's new and interesting for me because usually people just start writing the code trying to do something. But what you just said there, it's something that's really a game changer, where a lot of emphasis is going to be focused on what do you want to accomplish. Now the concern is no longer about the code because the code before it was like I need somebody to write a code and then about what and then you start going there. But now it's about okay, what do you want to accomplish? And then the coding part and the development part is no longer a big concern, right? So you're going to spend more time thinking about what you want to achieve. That's quite interesting. A lot of developers probably going to change that. A lot of projects are probably going to adopt that policy going forward because most of them usually think about, well, we need somebody to code, but probably they don't even know what they want to do. But now they're going to like, this is exactly what I want to accomplish. Wow. So let's talk about a little bit about Maple. Like, what has been the challenge for Maple specifically in the industry? You're in the industry. Do you have any competitors in this field? And what has been the challenge so far?
I think one of the biggest challenges is we see a really clear space is where we are. There are competitors in the space, but whenever you're entering a space that's greenfield,
Right.
there are very few defined boxes on what people are looking to buy. Right. So like when you go buy a car, you're going to go to a car dealership, you're going to buy a car. It's a very defined process, right? Like what the person wants and what the person gets. In the AI space, it's such greenfield. Like we don't I need to build AI. Okay, where do I go? Like, what am I doing? Do I need a platform? Do I need a tool? Do I need a feature? Do I need this? I think having the industry kind of congeal down to the big boxes of, do I need a model? Do I need a platform? Do I need a coding assistant? Like, where are all these things fit in the industry and how that's articulated to the buyer? I think that's one of the hardest things in the industry right now because everybody has a thought process on what fits and where it fits in AI. And I think it's all very fuzzy at the moment to a lot of buyers out there. And I don't think buyers have a really crystal clear decision on what they're going to get when they run into certain problems with AI. I think it's clearing up. I do think there are some boxes being defined in the industry, but I think that's the hardest part for startups right now is moving into a greenfield space that doesn't necessarily have, it has some well-defined boxes, but like the industry has not been built out yet, right?
Wow,
and as that industry builds out, you want to own a category. And we obviously want to run that runtime and platform category for our customers.
I guess there's a lot of opportunity out there right now because you guys are early investors into the space. What's your market environment? Like your geographical area where you market your products or where Maple is implanted or planned to be implanted?
Mostly in the U.S. We're a U.S.-based company, Northern Virginia. So most of our customers are all out of the U.S. today. We do have pipeline in Europe. But we are small, so it's concentrated in the United States for now. And then as we grow into an A round and B round and different things as we go forward, we'll expand into European and global markets as well. As for today, we're mostly concentrated in the United States. So
let's say somebody wants your product or wants your service. How do they go about it?
Just go to 𝗕𝗂𝗀𝗃𝗀.ai, reach out to us. We do POCs for free, so we tackle big projects at mid-size to enterprise organizations.
Right.
So we'll, if you have a problem you're looking to solve, we will work with your team in a free POC to prove that the platform can get you to the finish line, and then we move forward from there.
Oh, great. Let's talk about the industry. Probably 5 months, 6 months to 1 year. I know we're in the AI space. It's moving very, very fast. Like probably every 2 months or every month there are new models. I would say every month there's a new model coming out. How do you see the industry going forward, and in terms of how it's changing?
Yep. I think right now you still see a lot from the big players, the large language model players. I think there will be smaller language models that people use for very specific use cases. And I think people will start combining a lot of these models together for certain experiences that they build. And I think you'll see some more traditional machine learning and AI techniques work their way into customers' flows. I think taking just a brain dump of information, throwing it at an LLM and thinking the LLM is going to give you the best answer, people are already realizing that that's not necessarily how this industry is going to move forward. I think, like I said before, you're going to start seeing the layers of the industry start defining themselves on what you actually need to complete certain tasks. And those will become more clear over the next year or two.
So, okay, let's talk about the goal for the business. What's the goal specifically for Maple, probably in the next couple of months, years? What's your goal?
Our goal is to allow our customers and our new customers of product and engineering teams to build things they never thought possible with our platform. And if we keep executing on that, growth will come. We have great customers today who are building things for their organizations that literally they weren't able to build 2 or 3 years ago. They're able to build it today without adding people to their organization. And if we keep allowing product and engineering teams to build things for their organization or their industry, then that's our win, right? We help people create things that they never thought possible. And we continue doing that, and we'll write our own history.
Well, that's good. What I'm looking at, if you had probably one wish today, let's say one thing you would wish accomplished, or one thing you wish for the industry or for yourself, for Maple, like what would that be? What would that one goal or one thing be that you may think it's slowing you down, but you want it taken off?
Right. I don't know if there's one thing that's slowing us down. I think, the thing I want for Maybell is I want to continue to grow, and I would love for Maybell to be the leader in the space of what we do. I would love for every, mid-market to enterprise team saying, hey, we're going to build production grade AI for our company, we're going to build it on Maybell. That's what I want. And I need, I want that exposure, and I want our brand to be synonymous with production grade AI that's built in-house at organizations.
Perfect. Wow. Let's talk a little bit about marketing and sales. In terms of marketing and sales, I know we touched a little bit about that a little bit, how you reach out to your customer. What are there any funnels? Are there any methods, or how you reach out to your customers or potential customers down the line? How does that work?
Yeah, we use LinkedIn a lot. We also do conferences. Conferences are very important to us. We'll be at the AI conference in San Francisco, September 15th. We'll be in Austin for Gen AI Week. We'll be in Boston for GAI World. We'll be in Arlington, Virginia for Agentic AI. And we'll be in New York for the AI Summit in New York. We meet a lot of our customers and we meet a lot of our pipeline at these conferences. This is where people are getting together, meeting face to face, talking about problems that they're trying to solve with AI today. And that's really been our best way to get in front of customers and get in front of people who are trying and need to succeed in getting AI to production.
That's nice. One of the things what you've shared is quite insightful, because customers are reaching out to clients, or marketing is people have different methods depending on their clientele who's going to adopt them. But what I want to ask you, if is there anything you wish your potential customers, or maybe many people, somebody there who doesn't know about Maple wants to know, maybe something you want to share regards to Maple or the industry?
I think the biggest thing is if you are building AI
Right.
and you have hit a wall in some way, shape, or form on understanding how to get that AI application, whether you're doing entity extraction, classification, building an
Right.
agent, whatever you're doing for your organization, if you have hit some kind of wall, either getting buy-in from your stakeholders or operating AI in production in a scalable, reliable way that your organization will adopt and push forward, Maybell can be that platform that will help you solve those problems. And we want to solve those problems with you. And we believe our technology can help you accomplish those goals.
Wow. So from what I've gathered from you, you don't have any specific niche or clientele that you cater to. Probably fintech, tech companies.
We're not in a vertical. We have
Yeah.
customers across government,
Right.
industry, contract, finance,
Right.
healthcare. So we're not in one specific vertical.
Right.
Who we do help is if you are a product and engineering team in any one of these verticals and you are building AI
Right.
in house, we're here to help.
Great. Wow. I mean, this is quite insightful. I talk to a lot of CEOs and some of them. I see how they adopting AI and we at the Smart Office podcast, we're trying to let the everyday person know that this has come to stay, and many CEOs are looking for talent, skills, and things like that, people that can help them. What would be the kind of talent pool you're looking for, people that can help probably Maple or the industry? If you want to advise somebody, given your history and experience in this space, and there are lots of career changes, people may be frustrated or kind of, what would you advise probably people who are looking to either work in this space or maybe have a startup in this space? What kind of skill would you recommend?
I still think today programming is important, although you do it alongside a co-pilot,
Right.
right? But I do think having some technical knowledge of how to engineer and how to program still helps you actually understand how the AI works. I think that's important. I don't know that you need to be, the best engineer in the world, but I think having an understanding of how code works will help you understand how AI works, at least for this medium term before we have AI writing everything for us at some magical day in the
Right.
future.
Right.
I also think you need to be a tinkerer. You
Right.
need to be someone who takes risks. You need to be someone who wants to work with something that may not be perfect the first time you use it, and you try to get that to a state that's acceptable for what you do. So I think someone who has like a technical base, maybe they don't have an engineering degree or something like that, but someone who understands tech in some way and someone who likes to step out on the edge a little bit and tinker with stuff and make things break. And then when they see things break, figure out how to fix it. These are all traits that you're looking for in someone, especially in the AI space, that you want to bring in and use in your organization.
Wow, cool. Let's expand a little bit on that. We have there's a lot of young adults now in colleges and trying to find work or trying to figure out a career path. Some of them thinking maybe becoming a software engineer is obsolete, or probably they are no longer looking for coders in that sense of coding where you have to manually either code on a paper or code on a computer without anything. How would you advise them in this career, or how do they jump into this space? From what you're saying, just building on that, looks like critical thinking is key, but it looks like is the actual skill of coding actually becoming obsolete? Like I've seen people say coding is becoming obsolete. Developers are complaining that they can't compete with AI. So what are they now? And some have said maybe they need to transform into architects rather than coders or software developers. What is good for the industry, or how do you see the industry adjusting?
I still think having a technical, if you're going to get into anything with AI, you need to become an absolute expert user of AI, or you do need to understand technically how AI fits together, right? Like we're not at the point where we have AI building AI and it's AI all the way down the
Right.
stack, right? And I think it's going to be a little ways before we get there. With my own kids,
Right.
I have a son who, wants to get into technology, wants to get into tech. Where do you send him? I'm pushing him towards robotics, right? Because
Right.
he's technical. get into robotics, learn some coding. Don't make it the primary thing that
Exactly.
you're focused on. Make the primary thing you're focused on a means to the end. So, robotics, making robots and things like that. I think that'll be very important going forward. Or if you're an architect, learn a little bit technology about how AI works to make AI work with you as an architect better, right? I think just going to school to be a developer without maybe some sort of means to an end, maybe that will be going away far in the future. But look at startups today. I'm hiring engineers. Other startups are hiring engineers. These people who are getting in front of you and telling you you don't need developers anymore are hiring engineers.
Right.
So as of today, we still need engineers. But if you're looking 20 years down the road, maybe it's a skill that you have alongside the other thing that you do primarily, right? And so I don't think it's a bad skill to have.
Right.
You should still understand tech, like how it fits together, because if tech is going to be infused in so much of what you do, you will just have so much better understanding of how to apply the tech to what you do as a job.
Wow, great. Regarding these engineers, what specific skill do you think is critical in your hiring process that you're looking for? I do have a son too. He's doing software engineering in school, and I'm encouraging him to adopt some of these
Culture
skills.
is our biggest thing. We hire on culture before we hire on anything else.
Right.
If you fit the culture of our organization, that's the first hurdle that you got to get over. And not every organization's culture is the same. So I'm not saying Mayville has the best culture and some other company does it, but we hire on culture first. And then after culture, we look at tech skills and things like that. So at Mayville, it's all about, being part of a team, being selfless, having the skills that'll round out the rest of the people on our team, being someone who's there to help the other people on the team all get towards a common goal. These are things that we look for even before we look for a technical chops on somebody.
That's great. Wow. I mean, this has been very, very insightful. I mean, coming from somebody like you with the wealth of experience, I mean, this is going to help a lot of young people out there. Once we put it out there, a lot of young people are trying to figure out the pathway towards their future, towards the tech. With the advent of AI today, it's a lot confusing out there. People are thinking like, is my skill worth it? AI has taken over my skill set, or probably my experience is not needed anymore. But from what you've said, people just have to enhance their skills, adopt it, and probably it's going to help them on critical thinking and all that is great. I do want to end here and just thank you very much. Probably you have one last word for the audience and maybe for potential customers of Mayville. Maybe you want to say one last thing and
Sure. If you are a product and engineering team and you are building AI, Bell will help you build great agents or other AI tools that you can push to production with measurability, traceability, and interpretability. And that's very direct at our ICP. But if you're looking for those things, the Mayville platform will help you and enable you to run that in production. And for those of you who are not technical, go out and start using AI. Don't be afraid of it. Start using it at your comfort level because it's here with us to stay.
Thank you very much, Kevin. I mean, it has been a pleasure talking with you. It's been an honor that you come on the podcast. This is really insightful, and a lot of you out there, please watch this, listen to what he's saying, and probably it's going to get a head start there. Thank you very much, Kevin. It's been a pleasure talking to you.
Thank you.